My name is Darcy James Argue, and I'm a composer and band leader. I lead an 18-piece big band called Secret Society. I've had the band for just over 10 years now. We're based in Brooklyn, New York, and we have performed all over the world at this stage and recorded 3 albums. When I graduated from my undergrad institution, McGill University, I had no intention of pursuing a master's degree anywhere. I thought I was going to build my career in Montreal as a jazz pianist. But I had also started teaching at my undergrad alma mater. I was teaching an arranging class, and of course, during that arranging class, I was teaching the music of Bob Brookmeyer. Bob had been one of my musical heroes for a long time. And unusually for the time, we're talking like 1999, early 2000, Bob had his personal email address on his website. So I had some questions about his music, and I just reached out to him directly. And one thing led to another, and Bob suggested, well, why don't you send me some of your music? So I was a little terrified, but I did. And then I guess Bob saw something in that because he invited me to come down to NEC to study with him and pursue a master's degree, and that's not the kind of invitation you turn down. One of the inspiring things about Bob Brookmeyer is that he took teaching incredibly seriously. For a musician of that caliber, for him to take the teaching as seriously as he took his own composition and performing is rare. Bob was very interested in leading his students to understand what it is like as a listener to listen to the music and to develop a sense of pacing and drama and narrative that took the expectations of the listener into account in a very, I think, humbling and open way. So I felt very, very fortunate that Bob really was very actively interested in my growth as a composer during the 2 years that I studied with him at NEC and afterwards. You know, he would check up on me via email or phone call from time to time and kind of monitor how I was doing out in New York. So just on a very human level, it was very inspiring to have that kind of connection. So when I first came to NEC, of course, I was incredibly excited to study with Bob Brookmeyer, who had been one of my longtime heroes. But there were so many other great people on faculty as well. George Russell was another major compositional influence for me, and getting to play All About Rosie under George's baton, it was just an unbelievable thrill. I also took orchestration class with the late Hyla, who was such an incredibly warm and welcoming composer and musician. Almost all of the jazz composers at NEC ended up taking his orchestration class, and he was very welcoming to us. And I should speak about Rand Blake. His film noir class is legendary, and the insights and the unique perspective and searching nature that Rand brought to that class, and the kinds of questions he would ask of everyone in the class are questions that I still ask myself after seeing films today. I saw The Manchurian Candidate, the original Frankenheimer Manchurian Candidate, for the first time in Rand's film noir class, and that's actually a film that proved incredibly influential on my recent music, because I ended up writing this piece called Real Enemies, which is all about conspiracy theories, and so the visual and the sonic language of that piece definitely owes a lot to The Manchurian Candidate. If you're writing a piece of music about conspiracy theories and it's not a 12-tone piece, you're doing it wrong, right? So, you know, as I was writing the piece, of course, I'm flashing back to John Heiss's class on Schoenberg and Webern and Berg and Stravinsky. I'm very grateful for that foundation, because it definitely informed my approach to dealing with 12-tone music and trying to make it sound like my own voice. So in my band is guitarist Sebastian Noel, who was in the master's program at the same time as I was. And he's been with Secret Society since the very beginning, since our first gig in the basement of CBGB back in May 2005. And so, sometimes the connections you form in Conservatory just stick with you for the rest of your life. Yeah, it feels like I graduated yesterday. I've been back a few times, and I've done workshops at NEC, for the composers here, and I always enjoy hearing what the composers here are doing and coming up with and talking to them about how I approach my work and how they approach their work. I hope that they are able to have the same kinds of experiences now that I had 17 years ago. It was such a period of personal and professional growth for me.